Hello everyone, myself Anita Halder. Welcome you all once again on the behalf of Anand Niketan Movement. Today we are going to continue with some basic concepts of chemistry and learn and explore something more new about the basic concepts of chemistry. Acceleration due to gravity is different. The value of acceleration due to gravity is different everywhere. The acceleration due to gravity for Earth is equals to 9.8 meter per second square, which we can take approximately as 10. So I hope your difference between mass and weight is clear. Mass, it is a measure of the amount of material an object is made up of. Right, we can consider ourselves an object. So what is the mass and the weight? Right, we every time measures mass, but weight is measured in terms of, that is the product of mass and acceleration due to gravity. Next comes density and volume. Right, we have already studied about the derived units of density and volume. So how can you denote density? We denote density in terms of rho. Okay, this is rho is equals to small m, which represents mass, and V, which represents volume. So density is equals to mass upon volume. Hence we can also add that density is directly proportional to the mass, whereas it is inversely proportional to the volume. If mass is increasing, mass of a substance increasing, that means density of that particular substance also increases. Then how do we calculate volume? Simply rearrange this formula. That is, initially we have rho is equals to mass upon volume, then volume will be equals to mass upon rho. It's very simple. Now we need to know, we need to think upon which is heavier, 1 cubic centimeter of cotton wool or 1 cubic centimeter of rock. Here you can check both these things, both these material, that is cotton wool, volume is equal to the volume of rock, but which is heavier? Okay, so we have already learned that density depends upon mass. It does not depend upon volume. Hence, we can say rock is denser than cotton wool. So, 1 cubic centimeter of rock is heavier than 1 cubic centimeter of cotton wool, because we all know cotton wool does not record much mass. Next is, if a block of metal has a mass of 760 gram and a volume of 80 cubic centimeter, then what will be its density? So density is mass upon volume. We have placed the value of mass and volume, and its density is 9.5 gram per cubic centimeter. Right inside of your screen, you can see that density experiment is being performed. We have utilized different solutions, and depending upon the mass of the solution, right, mass of the solution, the density they separate out. Even in our lower grade, we have learned, that is the emulsion and two immiscible liquids of oil and water. Right. So how we have separated them? We have separated them on the basis of density. We know the density of oil is less than the density of water, hence oil flow on the water, whereas water gets settled down. If you can recall that we have separated this mixture with the by using separating funnel. Next is temperature. What is a temperature and how temperature affects the other quantities. Okay, we know temperature, it is a scalar quantity. Now this as well you have learned in physics, that is what is the scalar quantity and what are vector quantity. Scalar quantity means the quantity that can be measured with respect to magnitude. We are not bothered about the direction. That is, temperature is a scalar quantity which is completely depending upon the magnitude and not the direction. Whereas vector quantity depends upon magnitude as well as upon the direction. So here we go. What is temperature? Temperature is a measure of the average kinetic energy of translation of the gas molecules. We know the gaseous molecules are free to move and it moves with a greater speed. Objects in thermal equilibrium have the same temperature. For example, when we need to measure the body temperature by using the thermometer, how does it measure the body temperature that we have? And it has been shown in thermometer. That is, there exists an equilibrium. Now, what is an equilibrium? Equilibrium means where the rate of forward reaction becomes equal to the rate of reverse reaction. I repeat, equilibrium means where the rate of forward reaction becomes equal to the rate of reverse reaction or backward reaction. That particular state is said to be known as equilibrium state. Right? For example, when we want to measure the body temperature of ourselves, then we place a thermometer contacted into our body and then the body temperature is being transferred to the thermometer. Now, how much the body temperature will be transferred? That we are pursuing, right? So then in that manner we are able to measure the body temperature with respect to the thermometer. Now we have three different scales. We have three different scales to measure the temperature, such as Kelvin, Celsius and Fahrenheit. Okay, but Kelvin is the scale that has been used universally, and as we have seen, it is been called as the unit of temperature in SI system. Okay, now if I want to convert Celsius into Kelvin scale, what shall I do? So, to convert Celsius scale into Kelvin, we need to add 273.15 value to the degree Celsius. Suppose 0 degree Celsius is there, right? We know the melting point of ice is 0 degree Celsius. Now, I want to represent this in the Kelvin scale. What will I do? So simply I will just add 273.15 into the Celsius scale and will convert it as an Kelvin scale, that is 273 Kelvin. So your temperature Kelvin is 273 Kelvin. Similarly, if you want to convert the boiling point of water, right, we know the boiling point of water is 100 degrees Celsius and now we convert it into into Kelvin. So that is 100 plus 273 will give you 373 Kelvin, which is the boiling point of water. And even you can check this example as well. Now the another scale, that is the Fahrenheit scale. How to convert degree Celsius into Fahrenheit. Okay, now but what is Fahrenheit scale? So Fahrenheit scale is equal to the temperature T in degree Celsius, that is times 9 by 5 plus 32. How we are going to do it? If you want to convert degree Celsius into Fahrenheit, then T degree Fahrenheit is equals to T degree C into 9 by 5, or vice versa, you can say 9 by 5 into degree Celsius plus 32. Okay, and this is the way how we have solved 9 by 5, which is equals to 1.8. So we can also write T degree F, that is degree Fahrenheit scale, is equals to 1.8 into degree Celsius value plus 32. For example, if I want to convert 20 degrees Celsius to Fahrenheit, then so that is 20 degrees Celsius into 9 by 5 or into 1.8 plus 32. You will be able to obtain that is 68 degree Fahrenheit. It is interesting to note that temperature below 0 degrees Celsius, that is the negative values, are possible in degree Celsius scale, but in Kelvin scale, negative temperature is not possible. I repeat, that is, the negative values are possible in degree Celsius scale, but negative value, that is temperature, is not possible in Kelvin scale. Okay. Next comes uncertainty in measurement. Now, what is this uncertainty in measurement? Many a time in the study of chemistry, one has to deal with experimental data as well as theoretical calculations. There are meaningful ways to handle the numbers conveniently and present the data realistically with certainty to the extent possible. Now these ideas are discussed below these ideas are discussed in the next slide under the heading of scientific notation, significant figures, right, dimensional analysis. This all we are going to look into it. Uncertainty in measurement. First comes scientific notation. What is scientific notation and how we are going to represent this scientific notation? As chemistry is the study of atoms and molecules which have extremely low masses and are present in extremely large numbers, a chemist has to deal with numbers as large as 602, 00000 infinite, right? And for the molecules of 2 gram of hydrogen gas or as small as 0.000066 or 22, right? Similarly, other constants such as Planck's constant, speed of light, charges on particles, etc. involve numbers of the above magnitude. Okay, so scientific notation is the way that scientists easily handle very large numbers or very small numbers. For example, instead of writing this 0.00000056, we can simply write this by converting it into the format of scientific notation, that is, after one digit there should be a decimal point and into 10 raised to the exponents. It depends whether it will be minus or it will be positive. If it is 0.00 so on, then it will be negative, otherwise it will be positive, right? So let's see, that is the various examples of scientific notation, how we are going to deal it with. For example, I have given, that is what is 10 raised to 4, 10 raised to 3, 10 raised to 2, 10 raised to 1 and 10 raised to 0 is equals to 1. So this you need to take into consideration. Now if I want to convert 89, right, usually it will be 8.9 into 10 raised to 1, which we do not do so because it's a simple two-digit number and very easy to represent. So the exponent of 10 is the number of places the decimal point must be shifted to give the number in long form. As I told you that exponent, whether it is positive or negative, that will depend upon the number given. A positive exponent shows that the decimal point is shifted, that the number of places to the right. Whereas a negative exponent shows that the decimal point is shifted, that number of places to the left. Fine, here you can see it, that is 4.4 into 10 raised to minus 4. Here we have a negative, so we need to shift this decimal point towards left to get the actual number that is existing. Okay, similarly in this case as well, you can see here as well the exponent of 10 is negative. That is 7.8 into 10 raised to minus 3, which shows that this decimal point should be shifted towards left to get the required number. Okay, I hope it is clear. And in the above number, the exponents are positive. So to get the actual number, we need to shift this decimal point into the right hand side to get the actual number. I hope it is clear enough to you what scientific notation wants to tell you and how we represent the number in the form of scientific notation. Next comes significant figures. What are significant figures? The uncertainty in the experimental or the calculated values is indicated by significant figures. Significant figures are meaningful digits which are known with certainty +1, which is estimated or uncertain. The uncertainty is indicated by writing the certain digits and the last uncertain digit. Thus, if we write a result as 11.2 ml, we say the 11 is certain and 2 is uncertain. And the uncertainty would be ±1 in the last digit. Unless otherwise stated, an uncertainty of ±1 in the last digit is always understood. So, what we are going to say that significant figures, that is here we take an example, right? In scientific notation, the digit term indicates the number of significant figures in the number. The exponential term only places the decimal point. For example, here we have 466,000,000. So how many significant figures do we have? We do not consider this 0 as an significant figure. Mind well, I am showing you again, we do not consider these zeros as significant figure because when we convert this number into the scientific notation, we have the number as 4.66 into 10 raised to 7, right? So, how many significant figures? Only 3 significant figures. Okay, similarly, if this is the example, then the scientific notation is 5.3 into 10 raised to minus 4. So, again 0 before the number, 0 after the number has no value. So, then how to add this number and how to subtract this number, as we have already learned in mathematics, that is the number can be added, right, if the power is same, the exponent should be same, then the number can be added. Okay, for example, we have 4.215 into 10 raised to minus 2 plus 3.2 into 10 raised to minus 4. So, how we are going to add? We need to make the exponents same. Here we have in one of the number 10 raised to minus 2. Here we are having 10 raised to minus 4. So, you can see I have made the exponents as in same. Right. So then now you can add 4.215 plus 0.032 and you will be getting the required answer as 4.247 into 10 raised to minus 2. Similarly, while doing subtraction as well, we need to keep in mind that this 10 raised to power should be same. Then only either we can add or we can subtract. Otherwise, addition and subtraction is not at all possible for this number. So, all numbers are converted to the same power of 10 and the digit terms are added or subtracted. Next, multiplications. Now, multiplications, you know, that is, it is not at all necessary. Only yes, 10 should be taken common. And in multiplication, the exponents of 10 are added. Okay, so digit terms are multiplied in the normal way and the exponents are added. The end result is changed so that there is only one non-zero digit to the left of the decimal. Fine. So 3.4 into 10 raised to 6 into 4.2 into 10 raised to 3. What we will do? We will take the exponents in another manner. That is, we are going to add this power together. That is 6 plus 3. And we need to multiply this basic term. Then we have 1.4 into 14.28 into 10 raised to 9, which is not a term in terms of scientific notation. Hence, we need to convert this in scientific notation. So, we will have 1.4 into 10 to the power 10. So, this is having two significant figures, that is 1 and 4. Similarly, if you are going on for multiplication, having different exponent values, that is in positive and negative, right? Then what we will do? Again, simply we need to add. That is minus 5 plus 3. Here we are adding, but it is as minus plus minus. So we will have minus 3. Okay, and the sign of the bigger number here. Comparatively, minus 5 and plus 2, if you see into the number line, your plus 2 is a bigger number, right? Sorry, by 2 and 5 minus 5, right? Out of 2 and 5, 5 is the bigger number, so we have minus 3 over here. And the significant figure is only 3, that is, which represents the scientific notation. Next come division. Now in division, what else? Division means the digit terms are divided in the normal way and the exponents are subtracted. And the exponents are subtracted. The quotient is changed if necessary so that there is only one non-zero digit to the left of the decimal. So 6.4 into 10 raised to 6 divided by 8.9 into 10 raised to 2. So we will be getting 6.4 divided by 8.9. We receive 0.719. But 10 raised to 6 divided by 10 raised to 2, it is as 6 minus 2, which is resulting into 4. But again 0.719, it is not at all in scientific notation because 0 we do not count. So we need to express it in after one particular digit, the decimal point should be there. So that is 7.2 into 10 raised to 3. Right, this 7.19, which is approximately coming to 2. So we have your two significant figures. I suppose now we are getting the significant number of significant figures, how to calculate the number of significant figures. Next is powers of the exponential. Now here the digit term is raised to the indicated power and the exponent is multiplied by the number that indicates the power. Here 2.4 into 10 raised to 4 whole cube. So 2.4 is cube and this will be individually multiplied. Here we are not going to take the cube of 4. Right, so this is how we are dealing with the powers of exponential. That is, we are going to multiply. Right, these are the basic mathematical calculations that you have already learned in decimals chapter. This is a kind of revision, but along with this, we are studying one new factor, that is significant figures. So after getting the answer, we are going to calculate the number of significant figure present in the given value. That is, we have two significant figure. Here we have three significant figure. So this you can do it on your own and get the answer and then check. Next comes unit and dimensional analysis. How we are going to convert the unit from one system to the another system. Right, that is original quantity into conversion factor gives us equivalent quantity. This is based on the fact that ratio of each fundamental quantity in one unit with their equivalent quantity in other unit is equals to 1. We will be seeing few examples, right, regarding this dimensional analysis. For example, A piece of metal is 3 inch long. What is its length in centimeter? So you need to know the conversion unit from inches to centimeter. That is, we know 1 inch is equals to 2.54 centimeter. Therefore, your 3 inch will be equals to 3 into 2.54 centimeter. Okay, so this is the way how we are going to do the conversion, which results into 7.62 centimeter. Similarly, you can even convert your liters of milk into meter cube, which is the SI unit. Fine. So thank you. Have a nice day. And yes, as Dr. APJ Sir, Abdul Kalam Sir has told that don't take rest after your first victory, because if you fail in the second, more lips are waiting to say that your first victory was just luck. Right. Why I'm asking you to remember, right, or why this quote I'm discussing with you, because just now you have come up with the flying colors of your grade 10 results. So I just don't want you to stop, right? Please continue, and you are going to achieve your milestone. Take care, stay safe.